equation of a line in slope-intercept form that has the slope of 4, so right here, m is equal to 4, and it goes through -6, 4. So that's your x and your y value. So whenever we do these problems, we're looking for two things. We're looking for the slope, and we are also looking for the y-intercept, which is your b value. So I'm going to write out y equals mx plus b. We are looking here for my b value. So let's plug in what we know. We know y is 4, m is this 4, the one on the left, x is -6 plus b. So go ahead and multiply your 4 times your -6. So 4 equals your -24 plus b. Add your 24 to both sides, and you get 28 equals b. So for all of these problems, you are looking for m and b, slope and y-intercept. Once you get that, you write your final answer, which is the equation in slope-intercept form, and you plug in m and you plug in b. So the final answer would be y equals 4x plus 28. When you type that into your Schoology assignment, make sure you don't put any spaces next to it. All right, moving on. Write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form that goes through 8, 4. So here you are, 8, 14, excuse me. So that's your x, that's your y. And it's parallel to y equals 2x plus 3. Parallel lines have the same slope, that number in front of the x. So right here, the slope of that line is 2, and since I want the line to be parallel to it, I'm going to use m equals 2. So I'm going to highlight that because that's already one of my answers. Now again, I am looking for b, so I'm going to write y equals mx plus b. My y value is 14. My m is 2. My x is 8, and then I have my plus b. 2 times 8 is 16, and that equals 14 plus b. I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. So you end up with -2 equals b. And there you go. You found that second answer. We were looking for m and b, and we found it. But of course, the question asks for the final answer to be in slope-intercept form. So what you are going to type into Schoology is y equals your slope, which is 2, so 2x. And then b, do not type in plus a -2. Remember, we don't write things anymore as plus a -2. We just write -2. So you're just going to say -2. Okay, moving on to number 13. Write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form that goes through 8, 4. So here's your x value and your y value. And it is now perpendicular. Remember, perpendicular, opposite, so you switch the sign. Reciprocals, so you flip the fraction. So if the slope here is 3 over 4, the slope I want to use, instead of writing 3 over 4, I'm going to flip it. So I'm going to have 4 over 3. And the original slope was positive, so I'm going to make this negative. So I'm going to go ahead and write y equals mx plus b. My y is 14. I got that from right here. My m is -4/3. My x value here is 8 plus b. So you're going to go ahead and type in -4 divided by 3 times 8. I'm going to hit math, enter, enter. We're getting so good at that. So 14 equals -32 over 3 plus b. I'm going to add 32 over 3 to both sides. So I get 14 plus 32 divided by 3, 24.66, math, enter, enter. And you get 74 over 3, which is just such a weird number, but we're okay with that. So my slope is y equals -4/3 x plus 74/3. And we are going to be okay with those weird numbers. Moving on to number 14. Solve the system of equations using substitution. Write your answer as an ordered pair with no spaces like left parentheses 7, comma, -4, right parentheses. Make sure you do it exactly like that with the parentheses. If you leave them off, the program will count it wrong. So substitution, look at how nicely this first one is already set equal to y. So I can substitute that in right here where that y is. So I'm going to go ahead and recopy that 5x plus 3 and then equals -30. So I get 5x plus 3. I'm going to put a big old parentheses where that y was, equals -30. I want to make sure to have space to plug in that 2x plus 1. So I'm going to distribute that 3. So I get 5x plus 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 1 is 3 equals -30. 5x plus 6x is 11x. Plus 3 equals -30. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So I get 11x equals that -30 minus 3 is your -33. Let's try this again. -30 minus 3 is -33. I'm going to divide both sides by 11. And so I end up with x equals -3. So now that's just half of my answer, because remember we wanted it in as an ordered pair. What we're doing really is we have these two lines and we're trying to find that point of intersection right there. So I need to find the y value. So if I get that x is -3, I'm going to plug that in up here. So y equals 2 times, instead of that x, I'm going to put -3 plus 1. Type that into your calculator, and you get -5. So your final answer is -3, -5. I've got the parentheses around it with the comma in the middle, and that is what you are going to put into Schoology. All right, number 15. Solve the system of equations using elimination. Write your answer again as an ordered pair with no spaces. Okay, elimination is my favorite. So we're going to look here, and I want to get rid of, I could get rid of the x's or the y's. If I want to get rid of the x's, I would multiply the top by -3 and the bottom, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I would multiply the top by -2 and the bottom by 3. But if I look at the y's, that one is 1 and this one is 3y. So I could just multiply the top by -3. It's a little bit less work. Then I would have -3y on the top, +3y on the bottom, and they would cancel. So let's do it that way. -3 times 3x is -9x. -3 times y is -3y equals -3 times 10 is -30. I'm going to rewrite, I'm going to recopy this bottom one nice and neat directly underneath. Equals 16. Let's go ahead and change colors so we can add down. -9 plus 2 is your -7x. Look what happens to those y's, right? Because -3 plus 3 is 0. That was the point. Equals -30 plus your 16 is -14. This is going to turn out really nice. Divide by -7 and you get x equals 2. But again, remember the point of what we're doing. We have two equations which both represent a line, and we're trying to find the point of intersection. So once I get the x value, I have half of my answer, but I need to figure out the y value. You can plug this back in to any of the equations. I'm just going to pick the top one because it seems easier. So 3x plus y equals 10. Instead of the x, I'm going to plug in that 2. So 3 times 2 plus y equals 10. 3 times 2 is 6 plus y equals 10. I'm going to subtract my 6 from both sides. So 10 minus 6 is 4. So y equals 4. So your final answer, what you are going to type in to Schoology, is left parentheses 2, comma 4, right parentheses, and you are done. So great job. All right. Let's look here at number 16. A vendor sells hot dogs and bags of potato chips. A customer buys 5 hot dogs and 3 bags of potato chips for $17. So here is one of your equations right there. Another customer buys 3 hot dogs and 3 bags of potato chips for $12. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to look at just the yellow first. 5 hot dogs. So I'm going to call that 5H. So 5 times how the H stands for however much an individual hot dog costs, plus 3 times your bags of chips, potato chips, I'm going to call it C, equals your $17. So once again, I have 5 hot dogs times however much money I spend on a hot dog, plus 3 bags of potato chips times how much money I spend on an individual bag of potato chips, and that equals 17. So then let's go to this blue highlighted area. Another customer buys 3 hot dogs, so hopefully you're seeing the pattern here. So that's 3H plus 3 bags of potato chips, so 3C for $12. So now I'm going to use elimination in order to solve for H and C. So I'm going to change that to green here, and let's, the 3 C's, look at how nicely those are lined up. The coefficient, which is the big number in front, is 3. The problem is I need one of them to be negative. So I'm going to multiply the bottom, the blue equation, by -1. So that's going to make all of these negative, and I'm going to add down. So 5 minus 3 is 2, so 2H equals 17 minus 12 is 5. And so I am going to divide by 2. And so 5 divided by 2 is $2.50. So the hot dog costs $2.50. And so now let's go ahead and figure out the cost of the potato chips. So you can use any equation here. I'm just going to plug it into the top one. So 5 times, instead of my H, I'm going to do 250 plus, then that, remember that was 3C equals 17. So 3C equals 17. So 5 times 250 is your 1250 plus 3C equals 17. Subtract your 1250. So I get 17 minus your 1250. 3C equals 4.5. So I'm going to divide both sides by my 3. And I get that a hot dog is $1.50. Or I'm sorry, a potato chip is $1.50. The hot dog was $2.50. So if I wanted to just check, I could just plug it into the bottom. 3 times my hot dog is $2.50 plus 3 times my chips is $1.50. And that equals 12. So I know that I did that correctly. All right, let's practice graphing. We've got to get so good at these graphing calculators. Go ahead and hit Y equals. I've got stuff in here, so I'm going to clear it out. I'm going to type in my 1/3, so 1 divided by 3x plus 2. It's less than or equal to, so I'm going to highlight there and choose less than or equal to. If you have the handheld calculator, you're going to click, it says Y equals, and over here you want it less than or equal to would be, you're going to click right here and press enter until you get that the triangle is less than or equal to. There's a video in how to use your calculator on graphing inequalities. It's about a minute long if you need more help with that. And then let's go ahead and do the second one. Y is greater than -3/2 x plus 4. Click here. I'm going to choose greater than. Again, you would choose under Y equals, press Y equals, highlight this area and keep pressing enter until you get the triangle that is above here. That is how you do greater than on the calculators that are the handheld calculators that you have in front of you. I'm going to hit graph. If I want to fix that window, it looks really, really great, but if I wanted to fix it, I'd hit zoom, and I could just hit standard, and that would be the -1010. So as I look here at my choices, it looks like the answer here matches with B, because the double shaded area, the darker green, is your correct answer. Okay, last problem. We are given a picture and you need to write a system of linear inequalities for the following graph. So here's what we're going to do. Go ahead and look at just this graph here. My slope is negative because it's going down. Just like always, we are trying to find M and B. So B is your y-intercept. It is right there. B equals 3. Your slope, if I made a dot right there, it looks like, remember, slope is rise over run, so it looks like I'm going down 3 and over 2, and it's negative. So the equation is y. I'm not going to worry about the sign, the inequality sign yet. I'm going to say 3 halves x plus 3. It is a solid line. Solid lines have the line underneath, the equal to part. It is shaded below, so it's less than or equal to. All right, let's do the next one. Okay, we're gonna make that red right there. So again, you're looking for M and B. Your B is down 1, 2, 3, 4, so B equals -4. This time the graph is positive. Looks like you can go up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1, so the slope is 2 over 1. And you don't have to write 2 over 1, you can just write 2. So y, I'm going to go ahead and say 2x minus 4. It is shaded above. Shaded above is greater than. It is a solid line, so that makes it greater than or equal to. And that is your answer. When you type it into Schoology, use the regular keyboard for everything except the inequality sign. That one you have to use the math keyboard.